1,
2,
3,
4.
Monster movie.
Fun time, go! Monster movie.
Fun time, go. Monster
Movie.
Fun time.
Go!
Monster movie. Fun time, go.
With Precious D and Honeybee.
Fun time, go!
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and neighbors, welcome once again to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. I am one of your hosts, Precious D.
And I am the other one of your hosts, Honeybee.
Honeybee and I are two best friends making our way through the history of kaiju movies. We started in 1933 with King Kong. And once again, we are in 2005 with another sort of King Kong. Not exactly.
This is more, not King Kong. This is more
Ooh.
King Kang.
There was a part in the movie when they said, "We do not speak his name." And I said, because there would be trademark issues if we did.
I just called him Kang the whole movie because, like, the Kang, and then instead of dragons, they were dragons.
Were they dragons? This movie is King of the Lost World, which is a ripoff of two different things. It is a loose adaptation of the 1912 novel The Lost World by Arthur Conan Doyle, which has been adapted multiple times, including a TV series. I'm going to hazard a guess and say that all of those adaptations are better than this one. But this one throws a giant ape into the mix. There's not a giant ape in the original. There's just dinosaurs. And because this is made by the Asylum. Have we discussed the Asylum before on this show?
Yes, but let's do it again.
I can't remember if they just came up or if we've actually done one of their movies, but sadly we're going to be doing many more of theirs because we're about to enter a bit of a wasteland period. We just exited the Millennium era, and I think now we're in the Wasteland era, where we're wandering in the wilderness, looking for the promised land. It's going to be a while before we get to 2014 and a major studio pick up Godzilla again.
Mm-hmm.
And that void is going to be filled by the Asylum. Not exclusively, but primarily. The Asylum is a film company that they're most famous now for the Sharknado movies.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, and they made a lot of the things that are going to be on our list, like I think they did Mega Python versus Gatoroid and Mega Shark versus Sharktopus or whatever. I don't know. Mega Shark versus Mecha Shark is one that's on here. They make a lot of sci-fi original movies. But they also make things that have been termed mockbusters.
Yeah, I was going to say.
They will rush something into production to ride on the coattails of a major release. And I think the reason they used to do this, they still do it, but the reason they used to do it was so you would rent their movie by mistake in the video store. That's not really how things work anymore, but you still might stream it by mistake. So this came out like 10 days after Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Jeez.
But they have done Transmorphers, When the World Stopped, I Am Omega. They did a War of the Worlds the same year that the Tom Cruise one came out. But because that's in the public domain, they were able to just call it War of the Worlds. They didn't have to call it War of the Planets or something like that. So, yeah, they do some faith-based stuff as well, some of which are also ripoffs, like Sunday School Musical instead of High School Musical. So that's what's going on with this movie. It is 80 minutes in color. The budget was $1 million. Don't know. I guess there wasn't a box office per se because I'm pretty sure this went straight to video. The cast. Let's look at the cast. Oh, the director is Lee Scott. Bruce Boxleitner is Lieutenant Challenger. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he is the only person in this movie that one may have heard of.
Are you talking about the guy who's a lieutenant in the movie but is wearing colonel things on his collar?
I did not notice that. So, like I said, this is loosely based on The Lost World. So a lot of the characters have names from that book or names similar. Like Rita Summerlee was a guy in, I think it was just Dr. Summerlee in the book, but it was a guy, not a Rita. It's Professor Challenger instead of Lieutenant Challenger. John Roxton is a character from the book. But in the book, it's a plateau in South America, I think. Not an island, but this is an island because it's a Kong ripoff. Let's see. I'm sorry. I got sidetracked, though. So Bruce Boxleitner is probably best known for Babylon 5. That's where I know him from.
Never heard of it.
Even though I knew it was a science fiction TV series and it ran for like 5 years and then had a couple of movies, of TV movie spinoffs. It's pretty good. And he's good in it. And he's as good as he can be in this movie, but, you know.
You think
so? And the weird thing is, though, I did not recognize him at first, even though I knew he was in the movie. Jeff Denton, it's not until maybe it was just the angle he was being shot at. It wasn't until he was pointing the gun right at somebody that I was like, oh, that's Bruce Boxleitner. Jeff Denton as Ed Malone, Rhett Giles as John Roxton, Sarah Leaving as Rita Summerlee, Christina Rosenberg as Dana, Stephen Railsback as Larry, Chris Anglin as Olo, Amanda Ward as Natalie, Bonnie Yanagisawa as Tianka, Andrew Lauer as Stephen, Thomas Downey as Reggie, Amanda Barton as Taylor, James Ferris as Yuri, Jennifer Lee Wiggins as Etienne, Angela Hovarth as Chrissy, and Eliza Swenson as Gloria. Honeybee, what are your initial thoughts?
Well, I am pretty sure that you feel more strongly about this movie than I do. I'm pretty sure that you hate this movie more than I do. And honestly, I expected this movie to be... I expected to hate it, and I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't as bad as the last movie we watched, in my opinion.
Oh, really?
I thought this was a better Kong than the last Kong we watched, which was the animated dumb shit merged with my brain Kong. And not because this is a Kong, obviously. Like I said, I think this is more of a Kang. But there was some like dope ass shit in this movie, and like this, all of the scenery was pretty good. There's some other kaiju. There's some cool premises in this movie. Obviously, it's an Asylum film. It's kind of goofy. There's some shit, right? But I do think I liked it a lot better than you did.
Wow. Yeah, I think I liked this less than Kong, King of Atlantis, but it partly might be bias. Yeah, King of Atlantis made less sense.
Yeah.
But the CGI was so bad in this movie.
Yeah, it definitely was. But I feel like you can expect that from Asylum, right? Like,
especially when you just saw Peter Jackson's King Kong and you see how good it can be. Mm-hmm. And then you see this cheap ass shit that looks like it was from 10 years earlier.
Yeah.
Because at least, Kong, King of Atlantis is competently animated.
Yeah.
At no point in that film did I say, wow, this animation's really bad. It was just all the story stuff that was bad. Mm-hmm. But also I just hate the Asylum so goddamn much. Not that I hate, well, I do kind of enjoy Sharknado, but it's their whole Mockbuster attitude just pisses me off. Princess of Mars, that's another one they did. The same year that John Carter came out. Because I think by that point, A Princess of Mars, the book that John Carter is based on, had fallen into the public domain. So they were able to make just another adaptation of the same book, just like the War of the Worlds one, and rush that out. And it's just so bad. I got a summary here from Wikipedia. Thank you, Wikipedia.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
A plane crashes in a remote jungle. So right off the bat, we're already diverging from the novel. Apart from it just being set in modern times, in the novel, they are looking for this place. They have put together a scientific expedition to go looking for this plateau where they think there are dinosaurs. In this one, they just crashed there by accident. Many survive, but the front end of the plane and the cockpit are nowhere to be found. This also made me wonder if are we ripping off Lost a little bit? It also made me curious about, do studios have, you know how a studio may own or just be able to rent a street that'll have, a stock street that's got a bank on it and a coffee shop and on a backlot. Backlots have a setup thing that you can use for any number of things. I'm like, is there a crashed plane set? Where do these people get their crashed airplanes? Are there just crashed airplane locations you can rent for your movie in Hollywood? If any of my LA friends are listening, let me know. If I wanted to make a movie, can I just rent a crashed airplane?
That's a great question.
The front end of the plane and the cockpit are nowhere to be found. The only way to seek help is to find the cockpit and radio message. Because not only is it a plane crash, but it crashes on the beach of an island, just like in Lost. It could have been the same plane. I wouldn't know. Ed Malone climbs a small hill and sees the cockpit about a mile distant. A group decide to leave the plane and search for the radio. John Roxton leads the group through the jungle. The remaining survivors stay at the crash site in case a plane passes by.
Okay, but we got to talk about this girl who, when Ed's like, oh, let's do the thing. We got to go find the thing. And then I don't know, at some point this girl's like, don't be a pussy, Eddie. And I was like, wow, okay, we just got in a fucking plane crash, my dude. Could you be a little fucking nicer? Okay? Jeez.
And then she also, is this the same one who's like, it's not a date?
Yes, and she's like, I've been to Baghdad. I'm not afraid of a little forest. And I'm like, bitch, shut the fuck up.
She's like a photojournalist, and I guess he works with her. And his attitude is basically, we shouldn't split up. But her attitude is, we're not on a date. We can split up if we need to.
Which ends up being important later.
So does he stay behind, or is he one of the guys that goes?
He goes.
Yeah, because, yes, he calls back to... All right, the group arrive at the fuselage to learn that it's not part of the plane that they crashed in.
Gasp!
In addition, the radio and critical instruments have been stripped and removed. Yeah, it turns out that this island just eats planes. It's like the kite-eating tree in Charlie Brown. Just if a plane gets anywhere near this island, it gets crashed.
But I kind of like the premise of that this Kang fellow is just knocking planes out of the air when they go above him, and is just picking the people out, because we start with this Gloria person who's stuck in the tree, and then Kang just comes and eats her like a little snacky snack. And so it's kind of cool that we have this. I kind of liked the idea of all these wrecked planes everywhere that Kang is just conging out of the sky.
Did they establish he was actually knocking them out of the sky?
We do
there wasn't
see
something weird about the island itself.
No, we see an actual part where they hear a plane and they look up. It's towards the end of the movie, and they look up and they're like, "Hey, it's someone's coming to rescue us." And then he just literally knocks them into each other, and they two planes just crash.
Right. Well, I knew he did that with I knew he was doing that with the fighter jets. I thought one of them just crashed because it got too close to the island, but maybe he smacked all of them. I wasn't paying that much attention. It was painful.
Okay, but the first cool thing that we see is the spider web and the giant spider. I know the CGI is bad. I know it's bad, but it's so cool. It's so dope. And I really love the gooey skeleton that the spider drops and they decide to stick their hands into. I loved that.
And that was, okay, so first they see the giant web, and this girl's my favorite line in the movie. She says, I guess there's a lot of spiders around here. She seemed to think that a bunch of regular spiders all teamed up to build this giant web.
I did not notice.
She just sounded so dumb when she said it. And I think she was meant to sound dumb, but I'm not sure. Might have just been bad acting.
Maybe.
I was also a little unclear because the spider yoinks somebody. Just yoink. And then they're like, oh, no. And then spits out. I'm like, the thing that it spit out, was that supposed to be the same guy? Did it? It just seemed to cocoon the dude really quickly.
And suck all of his juices and meat off his bones.
Yeah. And I found that kind of hilarious.
It was.
Like, whoa, already? It was like 2 seconds.
Also, right after this happens, right after the spider thing happens, the like main guy, what is it, Ed, he all of a sudden has a fucking accent. I'm like, wait, did he have an accent in the beginning of the movie? Did I not notice it? Or did he just, and then like throughout the movie, like sometimes it would sound like an accent, and then sometimes I'm like, wait, does he just have a speech impediment? Like what? Why is this guy talking this way?
I think he's Australian and was maybe trying occasionally to cover it up and then being inconsistent. I think he was being inconsistent.
Okay.
They are startled by the arrival of Lieutenant Colonel Challenger. Oh, he's a lieutenant colonel. He's not a lieutenant. Maybe that's why he had his colonel.
No, maybe
he's a
so.
lieutenant colonel, not a lieutenant. So that makes more sense.
Yeah, it does.
Who managed to travel, my grandfather was a lieutenant colonel, who managed to travel alone to the downed plane, carrying a briefcase he doesn't seem to want to part with. The group continues to look for the cockpit, with some individuals being killed or lost along the way. Wow, just skimming right over that. They encounter a military plane. Was this the same dumb girl? She's like, oh, there's the plane. And they're like, no, honey, it's a fighter plane. That's not a passenger jet airliner. It's clearly a fighter plane, and an intact fighter plane, not just the front cockpit of a plane. Yeah, I think she was just meant to be a dum-dum.
And this was like 2005, so I'm confused as how Mr. Lieutenant Colonel has a fucking knife, okay? How does he have a knife on a plane?
Oh, on the plane?
Yeah, and then later, a fucking gun.
Yeah, because he's not the Sky Marshal.
No!
Even if he's a Lieutenant Colonel, he can't carry that on. I don't know. Because a Sky Marshal can carry a gun.
Sure.
And I don't know if you can get a special military permission. The thing is, the mission he's on, he should not have been on a passenger plane. We find out later. We'll get to that. But he's on a special mission. He shouldn't just be on a commercial passenger plane to do what he's doing. Challenger tries to rig a missile as a signal gun, but fails. The group finds a cavern for shelter that night and are attacked by giant prehistoric scorpions.
Ah!
So the last movie was about the age-old battle between reptiles and mammals. This one is about the age-old battle between arthropods and mammals.
So much happens before we get to the giant scorpions, because before we get to the giant scorpions, we see the dragons, or we see a dragon. Dragon. Okay, first of all, he pulls out this knife. It starts raining. Everybody's like in this plane, which, by the way, Ed said, like, it's going to start raining. We need to find shelter. Let's find shelter in this plane. Everybody like takes shelter in the plane, but then it rains through the plane and they're all like, oh no, it's raining. Like, yeah, he said that hours ago when it wasn't. Why aren't we fucking prepared? But okay, whatever. Then we see this dragon, which looks pretty dope, not gonna lie. But then we see natives, which, I mean, thank God they're white people in whiteface. That's a nice little change of pace. But, like, so much happens before, like, the giant scorpions. The one girl she has an infection. Oh, it's the girl who called Ed a pussy. She, like, has an infection and, like, passes out. And the guy uses the lieutenant colonel, like, gets his big knife. Like, what are you going to do? Cut the infection out? Like, burn it? Like, what are you going to do? And then all of a sudden, he has a gun. What? How? They pack her infected wound with dirt and worms. He has a gun. They walk past a giant footprint that none of them see. None of them see it. They just walk right past it. They find another plane. That's when the guy's like, oh, it's an F-18 Navy fighter jet. By the way, I watched this with my brother. He said, no, it isn't. As soon as he said that, what kind of jet, he said, no, it isn't. He at first, like, it looks more like a Fox bat, but then under a little more looking at it, decided it was a Sky Warrior. So it wasn't even a Navy fighter jet.
I mean, it was. I think it was just computer generated. They could have made it whatever plane they wanted to.
Yeah. Then this guy Mary Poppins a fucking cigar out of who knows where. It's like every moment this guy just has, like, first it's a knife, then it's a gun, then it's a cigar. Yeah, exactly. It's just
well,
so.
You can have them, but you can't smoke them.
It was so fucking random. And then, yes, we do get the giant... Oh, right before we get the giant scorpions, though, we also get a very hot, very tasteful little panties moment where we get to see the dumb girl's, like, little panties, which I was like, okay, that was cute.
I guess I blinked during that, but we get some more than that later on.
Yeah, we definitely do, but this is like our little, like, tasteful panties moment. And then we get this intimate moment between the two dudes, which is interrupted by giant scorpions. Like, I feel like these two dudes were about to go at it. They were like, I love you, bro. I can only talk to you about this shit. And then it was like, giant scorpions. No, we weren't doing anything.
Doesn't one of them get stabbed right through the chest?
Yep, they killed John.
Right through the back and out the chest.
I was so surprised they killed John. I really thought he was going to make it to the
end. It says right here, John and Tianka are killed.
Wah, wah.
While a desperate Ed, Challenger, Rita, Dana, and Natalie flee for safety. As they escape from the stream, they are captured by natives living on a plateau. So there is a plateau, but it's on an island. It is learned that the natives have been stripping the planes to avoid outsiders. What? The natives are discovered to be survivors from a crash long ago, which is what I thought. Is like, I thought that's why they were all, white dudes, because they had gone feral and developed a new language.
Yeah, which, by the way, the douche canoe apparently can speak, but when he speaks their language, it literally sounds like, and I laughed so hard at this part, it literally sounds like he says, poo-poo, no sauce. I was like, what? What is this language? He said, poo-poo, no sauce. I was like, okay, great.
They have developed a sacrificial rite to appease the creatures of the jungle. Dana and Natalie are brainwashed into joining them.
Jungle drugs.
More like drugged, I think.
Jungle drugs.
Well, Ed is chosen as the sacrifice. However, and before this, one of the so-called native girls feels up one of the flight attendants.
Titties. These are my kind of natives right here.
God, I can't remember now what part it was. I think it was earlier, but there's something that one of these flight attendants says that I'm like, you work an airplane. It was some sort of basic airplane kind of knowledge that it seemed like someone that, has a career in airplanes should know, even if they weren't a pilot. I can't remember now what it was, but it just something dumb that I was like, how can you not know that? when you're a stewardess, flight attendant. Sorry, I wish I could remember now what it was. This is what I get for not taking notes, folks. Let's see. However, the sacrificial ceremony fails when a giant ape. There's a link here. Gigantopithecus. What? No. This nonsense. Whoever wrote this article is trying to link to actual breeds of apes.
Oh, good Lord.
Attacks a swarm of flying dragon-like lizards, and Dana, who faked being brainwashed, we do see her throwing up something at one point.
Yeah, she does make herself puke. But first, we get some titties. Oh, and we get a Pocahontas moment where there's like one of the natives who's like, hey, I really like you.
Oh,
we
yeah.
should like bang it out
Yeah.
to the douche
Bruce
canoe
Boxleitner.
military guy.
Yeah, she really likes Bruce. She likes older guys, I guess. She's willing to betray the leader and bang him, but then gets mad later and wants to fight him. But wants it to be a fair fight. We'll get to that in a minute. She saves Ed. They meet up with Challenger and Rita, then spot military jets overhead, moving in to attack the giant ape, but are destroyed. Challenger kills a native but dies during the ape's rampage, leaving Ed to fight it alone. Okay, so yeah, they skipped some stuff here. We find out at some point that Challenger's mission was this other plane went down and it had some kind of nuclear device on it. And his job is to either disarm it or detonate it because he has a remote detonator with him.
Mm-hmm.
And when he finds it on the other plane and is trying to disarm it when the girl he rejected shows up and throws like a quarterstaff at him and then is armed herself with a couple of, I think they're called bow sticks, just 2 shorter sticks, and wants to stick fight him.
Like you do.
And then is that what kills him? She kills him in the fight?
No, doesn't he kill her in the fight? Yeah,
they may both end up dead.
He kills her. He doesn't die yet because he ends up detonating the.
No, he gives no. Ed does.
Oh, Ed, you're right. You're right. Yeah, but I think he just kills her.
As he's dying,
moment.
he tells. Yeah, says leaving Ed to fight it alone. Dies during the ape's rampage, leaving Ed to fight it alone. But he dies not because of the rampage. He dies because the local girl killed him. Mm-hmm. The townie killed him. So he gives Ed the detonator, and then Not Kong conveniently picks up the plane that has the bomb in it to try to use it as a bat against some of the dragons. And Ed detonates a nuclear bomb from a crashed plane and successfully kills the ape, but also destroys their cockpit, trapping Ed, Rita, and Dana in the jungle. They contemplate dying, to which Ed tersely replies, "Not today," which somebody had said earlier in the film, I think, as they stare in the distance. Also, at some point, Ed says to what's-her-name, "It's not a date."
Yeah.
To calling back to her being bitchy earlier.
Yeah, I love how they're like,
So,
we're all gonna die out
good
here
folks.
as they're like standing on the edge of a radioactive crater. Like, yeah, no shit. Maybe take a step back, you fucking idiots.
Yeah, that's what's going to kill them. It's just going to take a little while.
Yeah, the CGI is bad, but I feel like it's appropriate for the quality of the movie.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure a significant portion of Peter Jackson's budget was the CGI, but it's just so bad. I felt like they weren't even trying.
It's very bad. It's very bad, but it's also very good in that like B-rate movie kind of way. Like if you're into that sort of thing, like you know how like you were saying like the mock thing, you know, when they made the Saw movies, and then those movies came out probably from Asylum, like directly after, where it was like a bunch of people in this shitty situation that was very Saw-like. You know, I remember seeing that movie and being like, all right, it's not so bad. I mean, obviously Saw was better, but I mean, honestly, I did not hate this movie. I really didn't. I had so much fun watching it. It was hysterical. I really think that you hated it way more than me.
I did. I hated it very, very much. Yeah, I gave it 1/2 of a star.
Oh, damn. Half a star.
Did not. Yeah.
All right.
Did
Well,
not like it
okay.
at all.
As far as movies go, yeah, I would say this is not a good movie. But for me personally, because I enjoyed watching it, because I think it's better than the animated Kong piece of shit that we just came from, I'm going to give it 3. I'm going to say it's okay. Because I had a blast watching this movie. I thought it was so fun and hysterical, man. It made me laugh. And I really do love the B-rate movie, like the B-rated horror really it gets me going. So I did enjoy it. I'm going to say 3 stars. But yeah, it's a garbage movie. I think you can watch this on Pluto or Tubi as well.
Yeah. So, is this the first Asylum movie that we've...
No, I feel like we did another one. I feel like we did another one.
I just
Maybe we
I know
just talked
they
about
have.
it.
I know they've come up, but I'm not. I don't think. Yeah, I think the next one we have on our list from them is Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus,
Sick.
which is 2009. So, there you go. There's a number of these Mega Shark movies. And I think I've also put the multi-headed shark ones on here.
Nice.
2-headed shark attack, 3-headed shark attack. And then I think it jumps to 5-headed. I think they skip 4 and go straight to 5-headed shark attack. Well, that is it, folks, for King of the Lost World. I would recommend going and finding any other version of the Lost World instead. I think there's an old black and white version. There's also the TV show I mentioned that I used to watch. That was during the what I think of as a golden age of syndicated television, the Hercules and Xena era.
Oh, good times.
Where but there was a bunch of other similar fantasy, science fiction-y kind of syndicated shows at the same time, like Sinbad and Relic Hunter, and I think there was a Beastmaster one at the time. So there was a Lost World one at that time as well. So there you go. I'm so tired. And it's so hot. So I think we're gonna wrap it up here, folks. As always, thanks for listening. You can find all our stuff at mmftg.com. Tell all your friends. And you can support us at patreon.com/mmftg. Send us a voicemail. Tell us how you like this film or what your favorite Asylum movie is. Or if you've ever read The Lost World by Arthur Conan Doyle. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle to you, peasant. That's going to wrap it up for today. Until next week. What are we watching next week, Honeybee?
Oh, that is a wonderful question.
Okay. You're going to like this. Gamera the Brave. From 2006. Which I believe is on Prime. Possibly some other things, but I'm pretty sure it's on Prime. And I believe that is the last Gamera movie.
Oh.
Until, well, there's the animated series from fairly recently.
Yeah, like that just happened, yeah.
Movie. Yeah. So we have that to look forward to.
Woohoo.
But until next week, I have been Precious D.
And I have been Honeybee.
Remember to keep calm and take shelter in basements.
And please don't misuse science.
We won't see you, but you will hear us next time on Monster Movie Fun Time Go.
Yeah.
You've been listening to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review us on your podcasting platform of choice. Our theme song is by the Texicano Folk Rock Punk featuring Lita Lopez. You can support the show, find links to our social media, and even leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/mmftg.